Oh yeah, we're at Woodland Fishery today, which is an absolutely beautiful venue in the middle of Worcester. We're here for the Sunday Open match, which is on High Pool and Front Deans, and I've drew peg 1 on Front Deans, so hopefully we should have a few bites, which is normally a good area. Comes the autumn time, which we're in now, like late August, so hopefully there'll be some big fish. We're going to start our match short on a top kit, hopefully just catch a few like real big early mugfish before they sort of go a little bit scatty, so then we can like move our way out into the lake. So mid-match we'll try and catch like plenty like F1s and small skimmers and stuff there, just to try and just put some fish in the net when it's like when the fish are just about to want to come into the edge, just about to feed. And hopefully if all goes well, we should end up on this pallet down here on peg 2. Once again feeding micros and trying to catch some real big ones, which is sort of what will push you forward at the end of the match if all goes well. We should be fishing blown pellets I think today, which normally does sort out a bigger stamp. We'll be feeding once again Fishery Blue micro pellets, which once again a bit obscure, but the fish certainly seem to prefer eating them. So hopefully there's 5 minutes left. Get the last bit of gear together and we should be good to go. One little thing I want to touch on, which I think is massive, like in short pole carp fishing, is pinning your nets back. On the bottom of my net, I've probably got about 18 inches of rope, which we just got a knot on the end, which is attached to the bottom of my keep net. So all I'm doing is getting my keep net, putting it in the water, and pinning it back. All that enables you to do is just to stop any fish that's in your net during the match pushing down the shelf and pushing your nets together. So all it's doing is just stopping you from fishing on top of your keep nets really. So the last thing you want to do is once you're catching, you know, hopefully really well towards the end, is up the bottom of your keep net and you're trying to like pull it out and unhook your keep net, because all you're doing is just wrecking the area, pushing the fish out your peg and basically just wrecking it. So a little tip is just pin your nets back, all of them, and it gives you like a nice clear like area just for the fish to come in and feed on really, and not get disturbed by your keep nets. So it's just knocked the bait just down the shelf a little bit there. Right, this one's going to come off as well. We are half an hour into the match now, and by Woodland standards this is quite tough fishing really. We've had 2 small carp, a skimmer and a small ghosty F1 now this is, but I've started my match on a top kit, just loose feeding fishery micros in a small guru pot. With one missed bite, it was obviously the fish that I really want to be in now, shallow water, so I've just pushed out half a section further just down the shelf. Once again a small guru pot of micros and a blown 8mm pellet, and we've just had odd bites really, nothing to really sing and dance about, but looking around the lake there ain't many fish being caught, so we'll just plug away for another 15 minutes, just see what happens, and if so we'll have to have a bit of a rethink and maybe push out a bit further into the lake and just be putting fish in the net really. As long as we're putting fish in the net I think we'll be alright when some carp start to feed later. I'm sitting here catching them, Ricky. Right. I'm just about to ship out now to a line just off the far bank to my right. There's been odd fish blowing out there, so hopefully if there's fish blowing there, there must be some fish there. So if we can pretty much put a weight of small fish together, which, because the match is fishing hard at the minute, it looks as if we need to just be putting something in the net. If we can catch 30 pounds of small fish, then it keeps us in the race than sitting here putting nothing in your net. I think you're better off just trying to put anything in your net really, whether it be small F1s, you know, you're going to obviously catch the odd bonus carp if there's some there in amongst your fish, but thinking behind it is if we can just create bites. I think if you're not getting any bites, it's hard to make anything happen. So you can fall into that trap and just keep putting bait into your peg and nothing's happening. You can't really work it out. So if you're getting some activity in your peg and things are happening, it's a little bit easier to work out and what depths the fish want to be in or what bait they prefer to eat than just sitting there static, just waiting for a part of the match to come alive where everybody seems to be catching some. So generally, when it's harder work, the fish do tend to want to be a little bit further out into that deeper water, where probably feel a bit more secure really, where away from any disturbance and movement really. But if this fails, then we'll have to get the plan book out again, I think. Need to change that to hard pellets there. I've been fishing soft pellets up the edge, because normally the fish at this venue do prefer soft pellets, but after shipping 13 metres and striking a few pellets off, it's obvious that all I'm doing is just wasting my time a little bit here. So the last thing I'm going to be doing is keep shipping back, fishing soft pellets, putting a little bit more bait into my pot, thinking it's going to draw fish in. So I'm just switching my hook length over to hard pellets, and I'm going to just sit there and just try and be patient and not strike at everything, just positive indications, and try and make this work a little bit than shipping out for nothing. So like I say, you can put a lot of bait in your peg for nothing. So we'll put a Fishery 6mm pellet in the band, and hopefully this will make a difference, just to put some fish in the net. But so far the fishing's really tough. Looking round, there's only like been an odd carp caught here and there, nothing outstanding. So we're still all right at the minute to just plug away. There's no real fixed routine at the minute either, where it's obvious where the fish want to be in your peg or what depth they want to be at, which is normally the case here. So as soon as we can get some sort of pattern together, we should be able to put a few fish in the net. Right, so we had a little run of fish earlier, just down the first shelf. Because we're stuck in a corner today, we're just going to have a quick look to see if there's some fish that have still want to be down that first shelf. That's where the predominantly area of bites has been, but because we can't catch nothing in front of us, we thought we'd have a little look just fishing out my peg. And on that same line, just on a top kitten, a short number 4, but at like 10 metres to my left. So we'll see if we're doing it on the right line, but just out my peg a little bit, because if we get some bites here, we know that we're in the right sort of area. The worst thing you want to do is be putting bait all over your peg when it's really hard like this, in like lots of different lines, because if it's tough, you want there to just about be enough bait in front of you for that one fish to come in and feed on, not to be missing your window. So if you're putting some bait on one area of your peg, you've give it 5 minutes and had no bites, and then move to somewhere else in your peg, you if it's tough and there's some fish wanting to come into your peg, you could be potentially feeding them and then fishing somewhere else, which is the last thing you want to do. But on the other hand, you don't want to be waiting forever. You've got to try. It's a fine balance of just picking your time, finding your line, finding your depth, and then just trying to bide your time a little bit, but not waiting forever, because ultimately you're not going to put nothing in your net. So the rigs for today all incorporate our 19 Guru Engage to a 017 hook length of the same material with either a 14 or a 12 Kaizen, which as far as carp fishing hooks go, I don't think they can be beat. I think they're the best hooks ever. Also with the dead simple bulk of just number 8s, dead versatile, pretty near the hook. I think fishing big pellets and stuff there, I can't really see the point in fishing strung out rigs because the bait's heavier than the shots themselves. Elastic wise, my ever faithful double up number 8, which is something I've always used, so why change? Floats wise, we're fishing Guru Diamonds, which a nice round body. You can sort of, as you're flicking your bait down the shelf, you can sort of hold on to them a little bit and hold the bait nice and still. And they're in a 0.2 and a 0.4. 0.2 for on the top kit and a 0.4 for just down the shelf. Fishing into the lake, I'd use a Guru Pinger, like a 0.5 or a 0.6 wire stem. Once again, little tightly strung bulk, just to target fish on the bottom. There's no point, once again, trying to catch them through the water when they're pinned to the bottom. So with the fishing into the lake, I'll either fish an oid Kaizen if we're fishing for carp, or an oid Super LWG if it's more F1 skimmer fishing, because you're fishing banded pellets and stuff. So with the bands, are just a small Guru bite band, just that's perfect for putting a 6mm pellet in the band. I think one important thing is to lay your bait into the lake, than just lowering it down into, you see lots of people lower it just down into a neap. If the bait's flicked out into the lake, and realistically you want your float to go under, so you can just creep your float back into the bank, so it's just easing the bait up the shelf. So if the fish are entering your peg from the lake, yours is the first bait they come across. So any bait that's been also washed down the shelf, your bait's right there than being too far up the shelf. He's an old warrior, I hear him, that one. Right, so we've had a little bit of rain and it's sort of made the fish act a little bit more different, so we've just dropped back onto our top kit, feeding fishery micros and a blown 8mm, and it's just gone under, so hopefully it's going to be feed o'clock shortly. So the float's just shot under and we're playing what feels to be a decent fish at the minute. So a little run of these fish now could all be that's all it takes us to change the game a little bit now. But it's amazing how much the weather has had a bit of an effect on the fishing today. Well, it's made them really moody, whether it's a pressure change or what, but this is definitely the time now. We're 2 hours into the match, so hopefully they've got that little bit of moodiness out of them and they decide to open their mouths a little bit now. So hopefully we can get this one in the net, and there's going to be a few more there waiting for us. But it's important to not rush the fish now, because when bites went to premium now, last thing I want to do is pull his head off, lose him, and then the potential is he could actually come back into your peg and spook the rest of them off. So every fish counts. But if you think about it logically, if you can land this one fish now, somebody next to you needs 2 to beat you. So just take your time with them. And at this size now, he's a big fish. He's getting on for £8 or so, maybe a little bit bigger. So suddenly, you catch 5 of them and you're right back in the race. It's a unit, would I? Right, Ricky, you're on the couch today. What we're doing next, mate? What was that? It's a lovely bite and all wore it that there. He was coming out, was he? That 12's coison was implanted, he was. I'm in. Right, so we're just over halfway in the match now, and it's been really tough, to be honest, for Woodland's view standards, because normally the fishing's phenomenal. But it must be starting to be carp o'clock, because we've got on our top kit now, feeding fishery micros and a blown 8mm, and we've just had 2 in 2 puts. We had one earlier on, never seemed to be lots there, so we just let the peg rest a little bit, come back to it, and we have literally just had 2 in 2 puts. So hopefully they've had enough of swimming around now, they're going to actually let us catch a few. So just a case of just filling your little pot up of micros, clumping them in, so just turning the pot over, letting the water enter the pot, and just a little tap there, and the pellets come out in a nice little lump there. With it being a lump, it'll just sink straight to the bottom. They don't seem to get staggered about or anything, they'll just go down in a nice little pile there. So once the pellet's over the top of it, flicked out, just drag it back up the shelf a little bit, just to get it in position, and hopefully there'll be one there waiting for us in a minute. But I think it's the fact being when you're on some fish, or you're near some fish and them actually feeding, it's knowing what to do with them. That's what catches you the most, is that. Right now, getting that we've had 2 bites there dead quick, and no more. So you think, right, okay, what's next? So whereas some people will sit there and think, well, I've just caught 2, so I'll just sit here and wait. In my mind now I'm thinking, I should be having more indications than that. So I'm thinking, I'm going to go back that way in a minute, quicker than probably most others will think about it, you know. If they feed up the edge though, I'll show you some little tricks there that sort of, they've got to feed up the edge though first. We need them up there, further away, and in the end, if we can get them there, we'll end up catching them just like here. Less than that, but they've got to feed first. Look at the week on Ghost, I had 200 pound up there and I caught them like on the back of my keep nets there. The good thing is though, because we've had like, the only place that we've caught any carp has been there in that depth. So you know that it's that depth now. But you think earlier on, we've fed bait into the lake there, and all we've done is just caught little skimmers and just a lot of nothing. So you think, well, it shows where they want to be, doesn't it? Some there now, Ricky. Dead strange, I thought that'd be like lift off there. Is that the fifth one, that, Ricky? Yeah. Sixth. I can't remember if it was 5 or 6. Right, I've decided to put some bait in with my big pot because tapping little bits in don't seem to be doing a great deal, so I thought I'll put like 300 micros in a big pot and just pop them into my top kit. And I've just gone straight in on it there and caught one instantly, so the fish are definitely responding to a bit of bait, but got to be a little bit careful here that we don't put too much in and they either go a bit crazy or they become really spooky at the bait. So just put like a little bit in with the big pot. Let's say it ain't loads, it's just like probably an eighth of a big pot really. It's just enough to just try and draw some fish from far and wide really, just try and like draw them into your peg, just so they can, you know, try and have a little bit of bait to settle on. Then, you know, little tiny bits is great when they really want to feed because you ain't going to risk overfeeding your peg or anything, but right now, going in with the big pot seem to be, it's brought me a little bit of action on 2 lines now, so it does seem to be the right way, but only time will tell really if it's done the peg more harm than good or what. But hopefully if we get one more bite, we'll see if it's helped the peg out really. But this now, you would have expected this now, with the time being what it is now. You'd think now this would be like absolute lift off now. Now there's a couple of things here that are either really uncanny that it's just time that they've fed, but I did a different batch of micros at the start, right, that I thought I'll do these in case we run out of the ones that I used last week, right. So I've started using them. I've changed my up pellet and I've big potted it, so I don't know which one it is. Right. We're into the last hour and they definitely have come into the bank and fed a little bit now. I've just gone into my top kit and I've had 4 in, this is my 4th fish in 4 puts now, so it's the time of day where some fish have definitely started to feed. So all I did was just potted in some micros in my big cup. Once again, probably about 300 micros, not lots, and once again just fishing a blown 6mm this time over the top of it, just to try and just give them something a little bit different. We fished 8mm a lot of the day today, just trying to catch some better fish, thinking we was behind. So I've switched to a 6mm, and some fish have definitely started to feed a little bit. Whether that's because I've put a big pot of bait in, or it's just the time of day, but things are definitely a lot better now than what they have been all match. So hopefully if we can just plug away now, just be nice if we could just catch another like 6 carp the last hour to really, give us a bit of a surge, which that'd be really nice then, because you never feel too far away then. So I think we're on about 10 carp maybe now, something like that. So 10 carp will give us, I don't know, £60 maybe. So another 6, give us 16. you know, you're going to be pushing 80 to 100 pounds. So I don't think 100 pound the way it's been fishing today will be far away, to be honest with you. So we'll see if we can just get a few more bites off this line, and then you never know, see what happens when the scalesman turns up. One thing I think we should really touch on is not getting like edge shots during the match. Because you're looking round, and you know, today's been a prime example really. We've looked round and nobody's really been catching a great deal. So you know, we've flitted round our peg a little bit, tried to put some fish in the net, but no one's really run away with it. So you know, instead of just trying to blast your peg away and trying to feed bait everywhere, is just take it easy, have a look round, gauge what's happening with everybody else. Obviously, if there's people on the bank there that are catching absolutely loads and you're catching nothing, then yeah, you've got to do something about it. But in these odd situations where the fishing ain't good on certain days, which it never always is. If it was, it'd be too easy. So you know, when it's hard, sit there, analyse what's happening with different people, see where they're catching a few fish in their peg. Can you do the same in your peg? You know, just take it easy, have a look round, and not to lose your mind, because you can lose your head that quick just by watching somebody else, and at the end of it, whatever they're doing in their peg won't reflect on your peg, other than that their peg will beat you. So you know, sit there, concentrate on your fishing in your peg than everybody else, because regardless, if they're going to beat you, they're going to beat you anyway. So you know, you can sit and watch them all day long, but you've just wasted your 5 hours watching them, then concentrating alone on your peg and what's the best way to get the most out of, you know, your fishing in your peg on the day. Like now, it seems like I've caught 4. I've had 3 or 4 there, and that last one's gone into my peg. So it's now, instead of it feeling like there was some fish to be had, it feels like now they've moved out a little bit. So I'm in 2 minds. So either I'm going to put a pot that way, I think, in a minute, but the way the wind is going to really make my bait tricky to present properly. I'm going to put 2 barrels on a short 4 and a 5th, and I'm going to go that way and cup a little bit in like we have done on this line here. Because it's obvious that they don't mind having a little bit of bait put at them, does it? You get them in your peg anyway, should we say? Yeah. I'm tempted to put some more in there just to see what happens. Yeah. It's whether it blows your peg or not. Yeah. Let's have a look. Right, so what I'm doing is, I've just put my plummet on, and it's evident that there's some fish on my top kit, but now they've just gone like really funny and weird. So what I've done is I've put my plummet back on, I found another line with the same rig, just a little bit further up the bank. So hopefully, if they've gone a little bit funny then, they've just backed out my peg a little bit, I can hopefully try and have just like another little run further out my peg. So save sitting there, you know, waiting for some more fish to come into your peg that might not materialise. I've just thought I'll just slip my plummet on, just ship out my peg a little bit there. Got like a short 4 and a number 5 section to my left, and just to see if there's be some more fish there, just that have backed off. I feel a little bit safe looking at the empty water that ain't been fished all day. So hopefully we can have another little run here, just to see what'll happen. If we had our bites, really, we ain't done we ain't blowed our peg or anything, because we've done it out the way in the quiet water, probably somewhere that was never going to fish anyway. So I think we've had a bite straight away there then. Whether it was a liner, because there's no fish has been hooked, so the chances are it was, but at least that's a good sign, because it's showing that some fish have actually come to a quantity of bait. How long they'll stay for, if there's some there, I don't know, but have another little look. I think it's important as well, not once you've fed some of the big pot, not to keep going straight in with a little kinder pot after each bite, after each indication, because you've just put a quantity of bait in there. So 300 micros or so should be enough to hold some fish, just to gear. Once you've had one bite, it's okay, you can feed again, because obviously you're trying to attract more fish into your peg, but you'd be hoping that that cupping pot of micros you've just put in should be enough to hold them there for a little while. Right, so we've gone straight in, and where we've potted the micros in, we've hooked one straight away. So it goes to show that these fish definitely want some bait at them, but they're coming through a quantity of bait, which is really strange because you get like 2 bites and then no more fish. So this could be the pattern for the last hour really. So it could be catch 2 fish, move somewhere else, put another pot in there, 300 micros, hopefully hook another 2 fish, and then be moving around your peg. But hopefully they might just decide to be kind to me and just stay there till the end. But if today's anything to give our car seat somewhere. The big fish though when you're catching them, so once again, no rush, just take it easy. Make sure everyone ends up in the net. And you're all right. There you go. There it is, £6 or so. You can see why I don't take many of these to build the weight. Well, Ricky, I was hoping we'd see this go under once more, mate, but I can't see it now. Yeah. Right, there's literally seconds of the match left now, and we've pretty much run out of bites, so we've got to really flip round feeding quantities of bait today to try and get some fish into our peg, but unfortunately I don't think it's been the right way to go. So we've literally just like caught 1 fish, maybe 2 if we've been really lucky, then just ended up just feeding another line that we'd already been on, just trying to just get a bite really. It's been, the fish that we've caught have all been a decent stamp and they've all been, you know, no size carp to be caught, but we've had to really feed all over our peg now, and putting little piles of bait in everywhere has really pushed the fish out of our peg, but we've had to fish for one bite at a time really, and not really 100% sure if it's been the right way, but we've give it our best. Hopefully you never know, see if we can sneak a section prize or something, but you never know when the lake fish is this hard really. Right, so we're all finished. The match has ended. I've had £88 and 10 ounces, I think it was, which has won this bank and second on the lake, so a nice end to the match really. It's been a real learning curve today. It's been far from normal Woodlands view fishing today. We really had to like put our head down and work on loads of different things like fishing into the lake, fishing down the shelf, feeding lots of lines and stuff like so. But one big thing that's made a difference today is using my big pot. Now, for weeks and weeks and weeks, it's just been like little tiny pots of bait and, you know, setting little traps just to catch one fish at a time, and that's been the best thing. There's been loads of fish feeding, but with the pressure today and different things, it's been better to like feed a quantity of micros and put a big pellet over it or a 6mm and just sit there and wait and be patient. But, you know, flitting around your peg and catching odd fish here and there has been the way to go really. There has been lots of foul lookers out today, which shows that the fish have wanted to come to the bait but never really wanted to eat it. So, but I feel like I've learnt loads today as well. You know, every day ain't the same, where you can come to venues and things work the same every single week, but it shows today that you never really know, and today's been one of them prime examples where you've had to really work at your peg, feed the bait differently to what you normally would do, to how the fish want to eat it, not to what you want to give it to them. So yeah, all in all, that's been enjoyable. Been really good. So caught some proper old warriors as well today, which is always nice to see, because they very often you see when you normally catch loads of like 4 to 6 pound fish. So the ones we have caught today have been some real big units. But no, it's been really good, and thanks for watching. See you again.